10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined as always by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this August 26th, 2019 evening. And Chris, we're getting very, very, very close to the Olympia. It seems like it's going to be tomorrow, almost the way we, time's flying.
You blink and it'll be here. You blink and it will be here. And I will be there, and you won't be there, but I'll be there with Sergio Oliva and hopefully Jose Raymond and maybe a couple other people. And we'll be the pre-game show, and we'll be doing the post-prejudge and brouhaha in the parking lot of the hotel. And
we'll actually all have press passes. Well, you'll all have press passes, which is thanks to our good friend Dan Solomon.
Unless I say something horrible on this show, in which I'll have mine pulled, but
I don't think so. I don't think that Dan is like that anyway. So that's a good
thing.
You,
Dan. Thank you actually, Dan Solomon. Thank you for allowing me a press pass. I didn't think people were the press would be kicked out of events in the past, but we have been. Which, because we still covered the show, kicked out or not, it's still a show you must cover.
I lost a press pass last year, and because my photographer, his flight was delayed, and he remember that?
Where was that?
Where was that? It was at the Olympia.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Do you remember? I went. I couldn't believe it. I said, "What do you mean? He missed the flight was canceled. He's here." Yeah. Oh, sorry. If you don't pick it up on Thursday, you can't have a press pass. You lose it. So I had to give up mine. I had to give up mine. Thank God Jim Mannion is such a good guy. I mean, he gave me a VIP set of tickets, But the whole thing, Dan is just going to be great in there. I got to tell you, they got the right guy. They really did. You know what? If they ever contacted you or me to run the thing, we would do a terrible job. Dan is the perfect person for this.
I'm gonna refine it, because he's able to get sponsors, which is extremely helpful to the show. He's actually able to take my hat off to him, a reasonable quote spin on the AMI Rhoden situation. It's still spin, but it's reasonable. Has a when he came on your show, I thought he did a good job explaining a perspective.
How about the fact that he came on the show? That's right there. It tells you what a good person he is and politically savvy. Because a lot of people would be afraid to even come on and make a statement. He actually defended what happened.
He didn't skirt the issue. Thank God Jay's in Rhoden's corner to negate anything Dan said. But
I got to just to change the subject. I saw Shawn posted on his Instagram. He was actually Amanda pointed it out to me. He was wearing these white spandex, like the old spandex used to wear. His legs looked ridiculous in these spandex. You could almost see the fucking veins and striations through the white spandex. Pretty freaky, I got to tell you.
Maybe are you okay with Shawn doing the pregame show at the Olympia?
Yeah, I don't care. If he wants to do it, that would be great.
I can pull in Shawn.
Is he going to go to the Olympia after they're not letting him actually compete?
Of course he's going to the Olympia.
That's crazy. Are they going to let him actually in the arena? Or does he have to pay for a ticket?
What the fuck, are they going to be out front with armed guards and saying?
They've done it to me before. I don't know.
If they do that, who's they? Let me define who they is.
No, I'm kidding. But my point is, are they going to make him buy a ticket, or is he going to actually get some comp tickets, for that?
I'm sure he hasn't thought about getting a free ticket.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to go to the Olympia and watch it if I was him. It would be too mentally damaging for me.
Well, maybe for other people like him, it's mentally encouraging. I could win the show.
Yeah, but how could you sit there knowing that you have every tool right there? You're the reigning Mr. Olympia, and you're not in the show. I mean, it would be too much. How could he emotionally handle that? You'd have to be on pain meds or something like that to get through that.
Well, maybe for some people it would, but like I said a long time ago on this show, when, before all the, stuff broke about Shawn, when he looked like trash in Pittsburgh, someone said, "Oh, you said on the show," or someone said, "Are you worried?" I said, "No, I don't have a worry in my body about Shawn being ready to win the Olympia."
Well, he's obviously getting ready for the Olympia, which he's not going to be. And although tomorrow, well, I guess technically today, we recorded the show the day before. Monday is his court date, where he's got to put in a plea, for guilty or not guilty. I'm assuming he's gonna say not guilty, and we're gonna see a trial set. But once that's over with, I mean, that would pretty much seal the deal in terms of his not doing the Olympia.
Yeah.
Short of them dropping the charges, which that's probably not going to happen. So what does he do? He's in shape. I mean, does he do this? I speculated, on a video I just did, because we saw that guest posing video of Big Ramy, which we'll get to in a minute, that Shawn's going to do Italy. He has to.
No, he don't have to do nothing.
He doesn't have to, but why would he get in shape then?
There's nothing Shawn Rhoden has to do.
Why? You're his coach. What is he in shape for? What is he training for?
Well, there's options on the table.
What options?
The Olympia option is still on the table legally.
Yeah. Well, legally, I mean, what recourse does he have?
Well, I mean, I can't talk about it. But,
all right. So there is something going on, is what you're implying.
Oh, I guess, would you be training every day?
I don't know. Maybe I thought maybe he was training for the European tour or something.
You're just mentally ill, being a rapist.
Look, I think he should be in the Olympia. I just don't. But I understand why that AMI has the right to make the decision. Now, is he? I'm assuming you're implying that he's taking some kind of legal action.
Who holds all the cards? The National Enquirer guy doesn't want the show, and I applaud Jay for coming on your YouTube station, Dave.
Yeah.
Cutler, four-time Mr. Olympia, probably one of the most credible people in the sport, if not the most, and saying very diplomatically, but I'll translate, Shawn should be in the show, and I have him, I got his back. Next question, Dave.
Yeah, but he also said he understood what AMI's decision, but what Jay made a very good point. He said that the problem really arose with the fact that AMI never contacted Shawn. Like there should have been a gap in time between the announcement and their announcement.
Excuse me. I brought that up immediated.
You did. You did.
The athletes rep. I think he's the athletes rep. Bob Ciccarillo poo-pooed that idea.
Yeah.
Said, just to reiterate, so people, because not everyone listens to all these shows that we do.
He toes the party. He'll repeat any rhetoric that will support the party line. Him.
It was crystal clear that that AMI made a decision within
very hastily. Yeah.
30 minutes of the news, so nobody. So it puts them in a weak position, not being able to defend their position, because nobody from AMI office or legal team met with Shawn's legal representative, Rick Collins, to sit down and say, you know what, these are our options. We are leaning towards this option because it's our show,
right.
Meaning venue. But we don't know we don't know what has gone on. We have limited information. We would like to hear from you, and we will make our decision after 48 hours of thought and consulting with our lawyers. But instead, something came out on TMZ, and within 30 minutes, they had issued a report.
True. You're right.
So, who has the back of the athlete? Zero. No one. Zilch.
Well,
and that is part of the tragedy of it. That is part of the tragedy of it, because you know what? they had reached out, then they could have said, we reached out. So it would refute anything that Jay has to say or other people have to say in terms of, you would only have one answer. It was like, listen, I'm Jay Cutler. This is my take on it. These people sat down with Shawn's people, and they concluded after hearing, they spent 90 minutes with him. They spent 30 minutes with him.
Right. Well, all right. Let's assume it was handled incorrectly. Unfortunately, the outcome probably still would have been the same. They would have, taken him out of the show. So you're saying, and obviously I'm trying to squeeze information out of you that I don't know. So people who are listening, I have no idea what's going on. Chris obviously is privy to stuff that he can't talk about, but I'm assuming that there's some kind of legal press being put on AMI to get Shawn into the show, and that Shawn is not going to pull a Serge Nubret as John Hansen told us. What did you? Wasn't that? I found that interesting. I don't know if you knew that. Anyone knows that story? Serge Nubret was supposed to do the 80 Olympia, right? And then they told him you can't do it because he did. Was it because he did the porn movie or something like that?
I got the.
John Hansen's the best. Thank you, John Byte, by the way, all your historical information. But right, no. I think wasn't Serge Nubret was supposed to do the Olympia in 80, not 80, 70. Was it 76? The Pumping Iron one? Is that what it was?
Pumping Iron was filmed.
The Pumping Iron one, yeah. So he was supposed to do that Olympia, and then they banned him from it because they said he did a porn movie, which really wasn't really a porn movie, right?
It wasn't a porn movie, but what and John points out the fact that they had voted, member countries or affiliates of the IFBB voted for, I don't know if it was president or vice president of the IFBB, which was at that time Ben Weider's position.
But wasn't that afterwards? Isn't that a different story?
No, I believe what it was. No, I believe according to John what it was, and according to Serge, because Serge told me in person.
Oh, so that was the event that caused it. Okay, tell him the story. Yeah.
There's anyway. So the people voted for Serge Nubret.
They were at the time you could actually run for president, right, of the IFBB, and Ben Weider was the president, and Serge Nubret was the vice president at the time. Am I correct? Right.
That's right. So that's right. He was vice president, and so Serge, won the votes, and they had to do like a, hanging Chad recount or something, and, or they had to say that Serge won the popular vote, but
lost the electoral college. Yeah.
Anyways, there was bad blood there, and they told Serge he couldn't compete, and he got depressed, and he didn't train, and then he showed up when he was down there.
He just came to watch the show like Shawn Rhoden's doing.
Yeah, and they said, hey, you can jump in. They didn't know that he was still lean and stuff.
Right, they probably thought he looked terrible, yeah.
Yeah.
But he had lost, supposedly he had lost 20 pounds. Didn't you say that?
Yeah, I think he lost really, 20. He was 223 to 200, 200. He was only 200 for that show.
Wow.
Another story, which you'll never hear, and I wonder if John Hansen knows it. Serge moves to California, right?
Right.
Now, people are getting old. People are starting to get old, right? Arnold wasn't, let's see, I'll give you the year, Dave. 90-ish, 91, 92, 91, 91. 91. Serge moves to California in 1990. So how old is he? That's 92, or how many years ago was that? 90, 2000, 2010, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
So Arnold is maybe what, 7? Arnold
45,
is...
yeah.
Yeah, 45, but he doesn't look like Arnold of old, And, the legends are, quote, starting to get old. They haven't trained, So Serge Nubret goes to California, and, he's freaky, because I used to train with him sometimes. Freaky. And pretty freaky, Still training, still dieting, still taking stuff. And who's he run into? Who just cannot believe that he's still in shape? Arnold.
Right.
And Arnold invites him one year to guest pose at the Arnold Classic.
Okay.
So Serge diets for the Arnold Classic like it's the Olympia. and I see Serge like every week.
Right.
And he's just like retarded hard.
What year was that? Do you know?
Yeah, I'll give you the exact year. It was 1990. Let's see, 2 or 3.
Okay, so that's either the year Vince Taylor or Flex Wheeler won, right?
91, maybe 91.
Shawn Ray won 91.
Okay, so it's 92. I believe 92.
So Vince Taylor. Okay.
And I see Serge, and it's sad. Something's wrong. Something's wrong in his face. Like he's just upset in not a good way, and not angry, just like somebody pulled the wool over him. Or
Pulled the carpet out of him, but underneath him. So what happened? He didn't guest pose? Obviously.
Ben found out that he was going to guest pose, be the surprise guest poser, and held the vendetta all those years and didn't allow him.
Oh, my God. No way.
Yep.
That sucks.
And Serge was like, he put a lot into it because you know why? Serge loved Arnold.
Right.
Loved Arnold. And Arnold, I don't know if Arnold loved him, but they had a good relationship. And it was.
I'm surprised Arnold didn't just.
Me too.
Didn't just say, "I don't care, Ben. He's doing the. I paid him. He's doing the guest posing."
Yeah, me too. But you weigh that too.
Arnold had so much loyalty to the Weeders that I think that was the only person who could have convinced him.
You finished my sentence exactly, because Arnold is the king of loyalty, and if Joe, maybe not Ben, but if Joe said, I don't.
Please don't let him. I don't want him up there. Yeah.
You got it.
Speaking of which, that movie Bigger is available. You can watch it now. I think it's on. I don't know if it's.
What do you think?
Netflix.
Serge, could you imagine if the gurus had access to Serge's Pecutocrene these days?
I think you got everyone all riled up on the Pecutocrene after listening to the show last week.
Well, there's a few weeks ago we were talking about.
Or a few weeks ago, whenever we were talking about the Pecutocrene. Everyone now is asking me, where do you get Pecutocrene? I think I have a few vials left. Maybe I should put it on eBay.
You should put it on Instagram, dude. I know exactly what that smells like.
Oh, it was horrible. Horrible. I got I'm drinking a drink here that our good friend Samir Trudy sent me. He works for this company, NoCo. They're out of Sweden. It's a branched-chain amino acid, like carbonated drink. You'd like this, actually. They actually have a sugar. They're all sugar-free, but they have a caffeinated one, and they have a one without caffeine. I'm drinking the one without caffeine. It's apple flavor. It's pretty good. It's in a can. They sent me a couple cases of it. I want to thank them for sending it over to me. I think they're coming to the U.S. now, so it's like a little energy drink can. You pop the top, and it's got some amino acids in it, and it's good. The other flavors have some caffeine in it, but this one's good. You can drink it at night. That's why I like it. I like caffeine. I know you like caffeine. I like carbonation in my drinks. I don't know.
I like to drink anything. I drink coffee, carbonated drinks, Diet Coke, tea, caffeinated everything.
Yeah, you love your caffeine, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything. It just keeps me from dying. Probably.
Yeah. I was so tired today. I have my new theory about caffeine. I'm such a rationalizer, right? Because I'm always against stimulants. I feel that if you could microdose caffeine, in other words, like I could literally take a couple sips of a energy drink throughout the day, and it will wake me up, but it won't raise my heart rate or blood pressure. And you can only do that if you couldn't do that because it wouldn't have any effect on you. But if you don't use stimulants, your receptors in your brain are so sensitive that even small amounts. And I discovered this by accident because I actually took a sip of Amanda's energy drink once, and I'm like, I'm fucking wired. She's like, there's no way. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm wired. I feel like I did a line of cocaine or something like that. I said I'm awake, so I started doing it. I can make like a Monster energy drink last like 3 or 4 days. Like I'll just sip it like when I need it. Like if I'm going to do an interview or something like that. And I'm telling you, I check my vitals. Does not raise my blood pressure and does not raise my heart rate at all. So I think I figured out a way that you can get away with using a little bit of stimulant, and it doesn't keep you awake because it doesn't last long, in your body. It gives you about an hour or two of alertness. So that's my my new theory that I'm working. I'm working on perfecting the exact dosage. How much can you use before you actually start seeing the increases, the spiking in the blood pressure and heart rate? And it's dose related. The key is keep your receptors very receptive and don't use it every day. So in other words, like on the weekends, I'll try not to use any caffeine at all, just during the week when I'm working.
But I can't even stay awake for the show at 3 o'clock.
Now you could probably literally drink a cup of coffee and it probably would you go to sleep on it.
Bob Gruskin, he used to drink coffee and go to bed, said it calms him down as he got older.
All right. I want to talk about the big Ramy guest posing this past weekend at the Victor Martinez show. Did you see? You saw the video, I'm sure.
Yep.
What's your take on that? First of all, he's another one who seems like he's dieting for something. It's obviously not the Olympia because he didn't get a special invite. What was your, first of all, impression of his look?
Small.
What do you think he weighed in that guest posing?
Well, he's probably listening to the show and he'll be shocked that I nailed it at 283.
I said about 285 actually in my video I did on the whole thing. That's what I thought. Yeah, but you know what? He looks pretty lean, but his waist looked bigger to me, and I think, and you pointed out to me that it's probably because he's smaller, right?
Yeah, no, shoulders, arms, and legs are smaller.
Now, is that because he over dieted, or does this have something to do maybe with the shoulder injury that we heard about earlier?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter, but if you want to guess, I mean, it probably, shoulder related. You know,
think he's just not able to train as heavy, and that's why he lost some size, or is he over dieted, or what?
I think he's probably hasn't been able to train as heavy because Ramy's not only a good trainer, good form,
yeah,
but he's strong. So,
which is why he's so big, I'm sure. Let's face it, lifting heavy weights builds muscle.
You're not gonna Charles Glass angle a body onto that body. That body needs to be moving big weights to be able to develop the strong attributes that he's known for. So, you got a shoulder injury and you can't do 160s on the shoulder press. And people say, well, you can rest 30 seconds in between and do the 80s and 90s. Forget it, dude. It's like, no way. It's working a minimum wage job trying to become a billionaire.
Maybe that's why Neil Hill had suggested to him that when he was working with Neil Hill, at least, that he didn't compete this year, because maybe he saw that Ramy didn't have that size. We saw him on a training video a couple months ago, and we both commented that he looked really small. His shoulders looked kind of suspect.
No, Dave, to be. You know what's so funny? I don't know if you remember because you say so much stuff, and you do so many damn shows between radio and TV. But you would way before anyone knew of a shoulder injury, or that I knew of a shoulder injury, and knew of anyone who knew of a shoulder injury. You sent me something, and you says, "Does his shoulders look smaller?"
Yeah, I saw it right away.
Like injured or something. And you sent me like this video, and I'm like, no. And I played the clip like 4 times, and like on the 4th try, or the 4th time viewing it, I thought that something was. I mean, I could see what you were trying to point out.
Yeah, it just didn't. It looked like he had lost some oomph to him,
Yeah. So I think it's it's probably a good thing that he didn't get an Olympia invite because. You got to be ready for that show.
So what is he preparing for, or is he preparing for something? Do you think?
I don't know. Maybe him and Rhoden can go train together.
Maybe they're both going to do that Italy show. That was my speculation.
Could be.
By the way, Ramy did give me a little shout out. The guy who filmed him on stage there shot a little backstage video of Ramy saying, "Hey, what's up, Dave?" So that was nice. Thank you, Ramy. If you're listening, very kind of you. I can see if Ramy lived like down the block from me, I definitely think we would go out to eat like all the time. Him and I shoot the shit.
For lunch.
He'd probably be cleaning snakes with me. I bet you. I'd get him to clean snakes.
Yeah,
you get fish in my backyard. I got fish back there. He could teach me how to catch all the the hard to catch ones. My friend John Scuderi was telling me about that. There was some 16-year-old kid. He's into animals like I am. John. He breeds reptiles and stuff like that. Some 16-year-old kid told him that there was a pond in somewhere in Long Island. They have these like ponds. These guys they had yellow turtles. He fishes this thing, and so or no, someone else said that. And this 16-year-old kid went there, caught 2 adult turtles, bred them together, and produced albinos. Like albino turtles, hieroglyphic turtles. They're like really rare. So there obviously are wild albino turtles like floating around in Long Island somewhere. It's crazy. This whole world is like this is turning into a complete.
Zoo.
Not even the word I'm looking for is like experiment. It's a complete evolutionary experiment. That's the term I'm looking for. It's great. Love it. So yeah, so who's training Ramy now? Is he doing it himself or what?
I think George Farrakhan is.
Oh really? George and I were texting. I was trying to get him on to do an interview about his story. How he beat cancer, and he said he's working for MD, which I find hard to believe because I don't think MD's paying anyone. But
yeah,
he obviously has loyalty to them for some reason. Maybe because Steve paid him for all those years.
I'd ask him a tough question.
I asked him. I texted. I said, "Are you working with Ramy?" He didn't respond. That was the only thing he didn't text me back on. So maybe you're right.
Question on the show.
So So you think so when people were accusing you a couple weeks ago of working with Ramy, you think it was really George that was doing it?
Yeah. See, Nick Trangilli had bad information because
he reported that Neil Hill was no longer training him, right? I remember that.
So the people over in Kuwait got a little panicky that, oh no, he's back with Chris. So that was an assumption, but Nick Trangilli could have called me and said, "Is that true?" Because I wouldn't have lied.
Right, of course not. No. And I talked to Nick now, so we're friends.
You do hear the emphasis on trend versus trig. I know. You busted balls. I know.
You're a ball buster. That's all there is to it.
It wasn't me.
So so it's not you. You think George is training him now, and he's just not back to his old self. And so the question remains: what is he getting in shape for? Is it for Italy, maybe to qualify for next year's Olympia early? Is it to prove that he's still got it? I mean, it seems like it would make more sense to get him in shape to do the Arnold Classic, right? I mean, at this point, since he's not doing the Olympia, or do they think that they'll pull a Serge Nubret and ask him at the last minute to go in the show?
Yeah, well, that I'll tell you what, that
he's got a better chance of getting in the show than Rhoden does. That's for sure.
Into the Olympia?
Yeah.
Well, technically, no. You're right. Yes, you're right. But I mean, there'll be no special invites for Ramy. You've heard that for weeks, right?
Yeah. Well, I heard that. Yeah, I'm not gonna say for who, but yeah, I heard that originally. But sometimes at the last minute they get desperate. I think Ramy's going there with the intention that they're gonna possibly give him one. Don't you?
If he gets one, it's not good news for him.
Yeah, because if he doesn't do well there, then that's a disaster, right?
Is he bigger? Is he bigger right now than Rolly?
No.
Is he rounder than Curry?
Bonac? No. Curry, no.
Rounder than Curry.
No, and his shape doesn't look good because he needs to be. He's like Jay. He needs to have huge delts in arms and pecs to offset the fact that he really doesn't have a small waist. He has a good taper when he's huge. That's what he's got. Would you agree with that statement?
100%. 100%.
He looked blocky to me. Yeah. But he looked like his conditioning was good, but he just didn't have that Ramy, knock your socks off, wowing, factor going.
Yeah. No, you're right. So, I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell, but George won't tell.
So anyway, I know the people in the Bronx had to be really super psyched to see Ramy on stage. That was cool that he did a guest posing. What do you think Ramy charges for a guest posing nowadays?
$5,000 maybe.
Plus you got to fly him over first class from Kuwait, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would guess 5.
And I heard he's back in Kuwait. Is that correct? Training at the competitors' gym, not Oxygen.
Isn't that funny?
It's weird. Did you predict that?
I predicted a lot. I talked to Jose about it today. I predicted a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's just Dave. It's funny that you say you predict that. I'll while we're on the show, I'll copy. You can't read them, but I'll copy and paste you the text message I just sent to Jose about predicting it all because Jose said, "What a shame that Ramy's not in Olympia." And I mean, it's funny you don't hear a peep,
Yeah.
peep out of the players that used to support him as the next big thing,
Yep.
right?
Well, he had a legitimate injury, and he's doesn't look like the big Ramy of old. So maybe it's better that he doesn't do the Olympia. You don't want to lose your wow. You don't want to lose your what makes you special.
Yeah.
I mean, Ramy going to the Olympia and placing fourth in a lineup that's weak this year, doesn't have any Mr. Olympia in there aside from Dexter. I mean, that's a lose for him, don't you think?
No, without a doubt. With the whole, come on, dude. The whole, I mean, we've handicapped to some degree the Olympia lineup, and somebody is going to win it. But there's always going to be, but Rhoden and Phil were not in it. Isn't there? I mean, Dazzling Dan can say it's going to be a great Olympia, which it is going to be a great Olympia. I mean, they'll sell it out. There'll be, people screaming and yelling. There'll be great call-outs. People will be in better condition than we expect. Some people will be in worse condition than we expect. But there's no Phil and there's no Rhoden, so it can't be by definition, one of the better Olympias in the last 4 years.
Well, unless it's close and competitive, even so you might not have the star power, but you might have the competitiveness. And I think that's what makes an interesting show. Also,
it's going to be exciting no matter what, because someone is going to surprise the hell out of us, and someone is going to disappoint the hell out of us.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, us, just like the collective bodybuilding community, like would say, "Oh my goodness, so and so just didn't." We didn't expect this from so-and-so. It was supposed to be a big front runner, and then someone else maybe, who knows? Someone we expect not to really make any impact might make a kind of impact, But I think the players are all, I mean, we can all agree who, the big look out for stars are going to be, even in a show without, the aforementioned Mr. Olympias.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I interviewed Breon Ansley. I don't think we put the interview up yet on RxMuscle, but I interviewed him, and Cormier is like I think living with him in Arizona someplace, training him, doing his, helping him in the gym and doing his posing. It's a good team. They bash those guys.
Oh, for sure.
And Cormier, to my complete shock, told me that he was kicked out of, he's not allowed to train people at Gold's Venice. So I said, Chris, why not? Why would they not want you to? I mean, you're a great trainer. Did you ever run in with someone there? No. They told me I can buy a membership, but I can't train anyone there.
He's a great guy.
I couldn't figure it out. I said, I don't know. What's going on? He's like, I don't know, Dave, because they literally, he's like, I've been there since I was a kid. I've been in that gym.
He knows. He's too nice of a guy to tell you the truth.
Well, no, but he was so shocked that he's like, maybe you can get me one of those black passes, like I got Lee Priest. I did a rant. Obviously, you remember that when I was outraged that Lee Priest would be charged to go to Gold's Venice, and Cormier has been there probably longer than Lee Priest.
Cormier has been there since '85.
That's nuts.
5 to 15. So he's been there since '85. Not permanently since '85, but he used to go and visit.
Yeah.
So 85, 95, 205 to 15. 34 years.
Why wouldn't you want someone like a Cormier in the gym? He's like kind of legendary status there. Plus, he makes your trainers, it makes it look better when you have guys who know what they're doing training people there. Oh, yeah, I got these guys, they used to train here. They were top-level bodybuilders. Now they're working here. I mean...
Well, because people don't respect bodybuilders. That's why.
I guess.
I mean, do they?
I mean, if you're Gold's Gym, I would think that probably would be the right, person to respect. I mean, if you can respect bodybuilders, I mean, who's better than Gold's Venice? I mean, that bodybuilders made that gym.
Yep.
I feel bad for him because I can tell he's upset about the whole thing.
Who made that gym?
The bodybuilders. Arnold.
Bodybuilders. And they don't want someone like, I mean, there are.
Look at the logo on the wall. It's a fucking bodybuilder. It's a meathead bodybuilder. You know, drawn by what's his name? Our good friend Rick. Rick's corner there. What the hell is it? Rick Drace?
Yeah. Well, at least they didn't run like within 30 minutes like AMI and tear down Rhoden's Mr. Olympia post picture on the wall.
Speaking of pictures, Cormier's all over the walls too there. He's got like 5 pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a crazy world. But you know what? We're in a very uptight world, Chris, where everything is, if it's not politically correct, people are afraid. They're afraid. They don't want to ruffle any feathers. Everyone's lawsuit happy. And that's the society we live in. If you say the wrong thing to someone, they sue you for slander. And unfortunately, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. It's sad when I mean, that's, they're pictures of the gym. I mean, who's next? Charles Glass?
The weird thing is that Chris is allowed in. It's not like they didn't ban him from the gym, which would then that would tell me like, hey, he did something wrong. They just said you just can't train anyone. They told me he could buy a membership. That's an insult right there.
Maybe it's a business decision. It's all numbers in business.
That's right.
Maybe it's a business decision, and they have some. They want to have some type of say on. You know what? Maybe this is conjecture. Maybe they think he's making a small fortune in that gym training people, and they don't like it.
Well, I mean, don't they charge rent? I don't know how does Gold's Venice work? Do they charge rent, or how does that work for the trainers?
We should get Cormier on and have him discuss it in detail.
Yeah. I got it. We should ask Charles. Charles Glass is probably grandfathered in there for the rest of his life. By the way, I hope he's feeling better. I know his eye was all messed up from that little mini stroke he had in that eye. That's why he has that eye patch on.
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah, I did a video a couple weeks ago about all the crazy people who have eye patches on. Between Phil Hernan, who's waiting for a kidney transplant, he's got an eye patch on.
Well, Vince Taylor competed with an eye patch on.
That's right. I mentioned that too. Who else has an eye patch? Oh, our friend Amin Alai. He had a detached retina. He has to wear an eye patch. I think it might be off by now. Phil Hernan was wearing the eye patch. Who else did I forget? Charles Glass got the eye patch on.
Oh, you know what? I was going to make fun.
I might just start wearing Lee Priest had an eye patch on a little too because he had a did you know that he had a melanoma removed from his eyelid?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a little dot on there. There was a melanoma they had to remove.
That one?
I don't think it had spread, luckily for Lee.
Dave, I just had a mole, right? Stage 3 cancer survivor.
Right.
And I get jumpy.
I don't blame you.
A mole on my neck that I thought it was changing color.
Right.
I called to the doctor, and you have to go with it in your network and the whole. I can't navigate the shit anymore, So I called the doctor, my doctor, who I'm assigned, and he's been my doctor for a long period of time, my primary physician. And I said, can I get this mole cut off? And they say, yeah, the secretary says, or nurse says, come in 3 weeks. I said, what? 3 weeks? 3 weeks? What if it's like a bad mole? And I mean,
you already had cancer. You should have your tenant there. Phil call for you.
We can't get you in earlier. So I just paid to have it cut off I just called a doctor and said, what do you charge? You know what I mean?
Right.
Can you take
I would just go. Yeah, I would go to I would do the same thing if I were you.
So how much?
I'm surprised they didn't take it off right after you had the melanoma. I would have gotten everything taken off my body if I were you.
Yeah, I had everything, but they said, oh, that one, which is ridiculous. That one's like a benign one.
Yeah, bullshit. Take it off anyway, I would have said.
Well, you know what got me even jumpier about it? Susie
Blaylock, yeah. She had some melanomas removed.
So she had contacted me, and right around the time that, my wife said, that mole looks like it might have changed color. Then I went really crazy.
Oh, yeah, you thought it was like a message from God saying,
yes. And so here I am getting a message from God. and Susie Blaylock at the time. And I called the doctor, and they said, "Come in 3 weeks." I said, "What are we in what country are we in?"
Right.
So
Are we in Canada here? That's what you should have said.
When I called someone else, started calling around, they're like, "Do you have insurance?" I'm like, "I don't. I'm gonna pay cash. I'm gonna walk through the door with cash, green stuff, not even a check."
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, no one ever does that." I'm like, "Oh gosh." You know what?
So out of curiosity, what did they charge you to remove the thing?
$325.
That's not bad.
Oh, that's what I said. Yeah, you know what? Wait, Dave. Wait. I get to the doctor, and he goes, "Oh, you sure you want to have it taken off?" I said, listen. I don't care if you are guessing or you're 100% sure. It is going to drive me nuts because this lady, I didn't say Susie Blaylock, has been texting me, and and around the same time, literally like the next day, my wife said, "Is that mole, color changed?" Because she was the one who found the first mole.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was like on my back. I couldn't see it, and it was like bloody and stuff.
Wow.
And that had changed in like 2 seconds,
Yeah, no, you had a serious case, and you had to go on interferon and everything like that. For people who don't know, but I mean, luckily for Susie and Lee Priest, it was a removal with the borders. But Lee probably liked it. It's a cool scar on his eye, But you can't mess around with those skin cancers, My wife had the basal cells removed, and those were scary enough. They don't really spread those things, but you have one, and they kind of like, you get another one over here, and on your face, it's the worst, because especially for a woman, traumatizing.
Yeah, of course.
We had to go when she went and got hers done. They do for your face. They do this Mohs procedure where they actually cut just enough off because they don't want to disfigure you. And then what they do is they go in, they look it under the microscope to make sure they got the borders properly. And she had to go. We were in the office for hours. She had to keep going back, and they took a little more, and took a little more, and took a little more until they got it all out. It was a nutty procedure. Luckily, the person who did it was an amazing plastic surgeon. Closed her, so you can't even tell. But it's scary. Speaking of doctors, we're going. This Thursday is the induction date, so I'll be having my daughter born.
Oh, it's what, like in 4 days?
Like in 4 days, yeah, 3 days.
Oh my goodness, are you excited or what?
Yeah. It's not as nerve wracking. I'm sure my wife would say for her it is, but it's not as nerve wracking. I think because we've done it.
Stop the show. You have plenty of time to go to the Olympia. I thought you were giving.
No, are you kidding me? People don't realize it's not the birth that's the pain in the ass. It's the first couple of weeks after the baby's born. It disrupts your life. You can't. And my wife runs our businesses. Plus, we have the other 2 kids, and it's nuts. It's crazy, So this Thursday, she's going in to be induced. We came up with a baby name for the first name. We don't know the second yet. The middle name.
You want to share it?
I'll share it. I had suggested this before, and it just kind of got dismissed. And then we kind of were thinking about other things, and then it came back. I wanted to name the baby after my mother. My mother's name was Sheila, but I didn't want it. I think Sheila sounds like an old name, so I had suggested Shayla, Shayla, and with a cool nickname Shay, because both of us like the nickname. So we decided to go with that. She agreed that was a good name, and that's going to be the base. So we're just looking for a middle name that kind of matches.
So I have one question.
Yes.
Is this the end?
I don't know. Did you think is your last one the end? The new one?
Well, let me say this. You will have. What happens is I would see how I stutter. I would like to have another one because what happens is you have so much fun. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work.
It's fun.
It's a lot of work, though. Your wife runs your business with you. I mean, she must be like made of steel because you're allowed to travel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got a lot going on here. I don't know. I think we have more going on than you do. That's the problem.
The other end of the spectrum, you don't want to be like Larry King and be like 84.
Yeah, I'm worried that I have to be able to defend myself at these soccer games against the other younger dads.
Because what happens is,
luckily I'm Dave Palumbo. I could do a rant on these people if I can't beat them up or anything like that.
Shayla will be, let's see, when Shayla is on like high school gymnastics or track,
I'll be fucking. How old will I be?
she'll be 66.
Yeah, I'll do just like you with the new baby. You know what, the difference between you and I is you really want more kids. Like I'm fine. I was fine with 2, and I'm certainly fine with 3. And I think my wife is, and Amanda's definitely fine with. She doesn't want any more than 3, but there's always the risk of us. Now all of a sudden I became super fertile. When I hit 51, I couldn't get her pregnant for nothing. Before
You
that.
know, it's super fertile because you don't sell it, you give it away for free. But all you infertile males, how many people, Dave, have I given the Dave Palumbo fertility stack to?
I've given that to 1 million people, and they're all. It never has failed to work. The problem is I didn't use it for the 3rd baby. I'm fertile. I've made myself fertile somehow using the Palumbo protocol. It permanently turned me back on. I'm a sperm producing machine again.
Could be the caffeine too. Keep you.
Yeah, my father. My father's father, my grandfather, was a baby making machine. My father has 4 brothers and 2 sisters. They were cranking them out every year for a while. I think they had to get my grandfather a vasectomy at some point because they were still having kids and they were the 40s already. The Italians are very fertile. I kind of blunted that a little from the steroid use, but I think I'm permanently restored at this point. Isn't it crazy? You and I are nuts. We're so crazy that we're having babies when we're 50. It's completely insane.
I was with my 5-month-old recently, and little old lady said, "Is that yours?" Like, do I look that old?
Exactly.
Probably because maybe she could see probably that I was holding it in a way and kissing him maybe like a father would, as opposed to maybe like a grandfather.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny, but it is what it is. You're still going for the girl.
Oh no, we 4 boys, all boys,
Okay.
all boys.
But isn't that why you keep trying? You want a girl?
No, we just having them to have them.
Okay, all right.
Take what we get, and I think 4 boys. Boys are still on the whole, I think, fairly easy.
I don't know. Not my son is not. Maybe when he gets a little older, he will be. My son is very high maintenance.
It's not wild. I just said they're easy in terms of. I mean, they still take discipline easy without any. They don't have like meltdowns, which I've heard that girls go through, and
Yeah. The emotional side of it, I think, is better probably.
yeah. I mean, they may talk back once in a while and say, why XYZ, and I said, because I'm the boss and this is my house.
Yeah. You know what my son says to me when I say that to him? He says, "I'm not your best friend anymore."
Oh, he's got a contractual agreement with you.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm not your best friend." I said, "I'm not your best friend." I said, "I'm your father." I said, "There's a difference."
Yeah.
I said, "You can't get rid of your father. You can get rid of your best friend."
I don't need friends and I don't want friends. I just kids that look.
So let's talk about I think the biggest story is not Shawn, Rhoden, and Big Ramy. I think the biggest story in our industry is Quest Nutrition being sold for $1 billion.
Yeah, that's a staggering sale. Staggering, which means, although I was off, that they were making, and I'm not sure, but this is probably a close figure, that their yearly profit, meaning think how many expenses they must have. It's insane. But their profit is $70 million a year. That's a lot of money.
I'll tell you this. You want to know the Quest story? I'm going to tell you the story about Quest. Quest, about 10 years ago, came to me.
They used to sponsor everything you did.
Yeah, they did. They came to me and they said, "Look," the guy who owned the company at the time said, "Ron, I'm creating this bar. I know you guys, you, Dave, are a big proponent of low-carb bars, of low-carb eating, rather, high protein, moderate fat. This is going to be the bar that you're going to love this bar." I said, "How come no one else makes it?" He's like, "They told me I couldn't make the bar." I went to all the manufacturers. They said there's no way you can make this bar. It just won't work. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make this bar anyway. And they built their own machines in their facility to make the bar. So the machines were built to actually manufacture this bar in such a way that they can actually do the low carb. Because sugar and carbs hold these bars together. So to be able to use fiber, which is also a carb, it's just an absorbable carb, to hold them together, I guess it takes some kind of a special machine to make it that doesn't make other bars. So I said, it sounds amazing. I said, send me some of them. So they sent me the bars. I tasted the first Quest bars, probably before anyone did. They were delicious. I said, these are great. I said, I have no problem promoting these. So I started telling everyone about them. And they were so happy that this is when RxMuscle really was first launched. So we were really, we were still looking for advertisers. That's how we survived, really. And Quest was behind us from day one, really. And supported the website for many, many years until they obviously brought in some kind of new CEO who had to clean up the books. I knew they were selling. They didn't tell me, but I knew the sale was imminent at that point. When they bring in the CEO, they're basically cleaning up any little extraneous bullshit so that they can make the company look as profitable as possible.
Yeah. So
they sold the company for $1 billion. That's got to be a record, right? What do you think Bleckman's doing? You think Bleckman's like, we twin.
Yeah, we. What did they sell Twin Lab for? Or did they took it public?
They sold 49% of it, which they got a crazy amount of money for. And then on top of that, then they went public on top of that. They basically siphoned all the money out of the company.
Double dipping.
Yeah. They expected, according to this article, Quest expects the revenues of $340 million this year alone. Simply Good is the company that bought them. They own the Atkins bars and all that stuff. So you think it was a good purchase for that company? You think they'll be able to make money?
You know what? Yes and no.
And they paid cash, by the way, so there's no nothing. They got their money up front.
My real answer is no. You want to know the reason why? You want to know the reason why?
Yeah, of course.
Because Quest is not a legit strong brand. One, so there's no brand loyalty to it. There may be a bar loyalty and people love it, but there's no established brand, and brands are worth something always. That's why Sports Illustrated, which is a defunct magazine, the name Sports Illustrated still has some type of value, monetary value to it. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of competition for bars. So just because they did, showed 10 years in a row, and hats off to them. They're obviously executing, on all cylinders. But just because they had continually growth in sales, nothing grows forever. And someone can come out with a better taste and better bar tomorrow, and that could chew into, even if if they made $70 million profit, and next year the new company makes $50 million profit, they overspent by 30%, and they should have bought, now it's only worth, instead of $1 billion, it's really technically worth $700 million. And they don't have the brand to fall back on. It's not like Coke, a brand, or McDonald's. So it still seems like they paid a premium. It's like in real estate, location. Where do you want to be? You want to be in New York City.
Right.
And even if you buy the shittiest thing in New York City, you're protected to the downside, because how many places are they going to have in New York City? There's only so much on that island that you can put. And that, and it's such a desirable place for people to live who have lots of money. Mm-hmm. New York City in itself is a brand, or location is the equivalent to a brand. So sure. It just seems expensive.
Here's the history of it. Quest was started by Tom Bilyeu, Ron Penna, and Mike Osborne, all software industry veterans. In 2010, their first protein-packed nutrition bars duplicated a recipe devised by Penna's wife. I didn't even know this, Shanna Penna, and then a fitness trainer. The company's initial growth was driven by free handouts to fitness influencers. I have to say, they gave out so many free bars. That was always their business model. Hand out free bars.
Go ahead. Even in 2014, I think it was 2014, they used to send on occasion bars to me. My kids would go through like 40 of them in 2 days.
Right. They were
Yeah.
great.
No, they're delicious.
There
Because
was
they
nothing like it.
and they would have all the crazy flavors too.
Yeah, they still do. Their cookies are great. I eat the cookies all the time. Despite they weren't advertising, they would still always send me free stuff, which was great.
Oh, keep going. So in 2010 they started, and
It's unbelievable. The one of the partners left in 2000. Tom left in 2017. Started his own company,
what do you start?
a media company called Impact Theory.
How'd they do?
I don't know.
Funny, you know, I asked because I met someone the other night at this like weird dinner party I went to, and someone like a Quest. I don't want to say because it's I mean it's a brand. It's a brand. I'll tell you off the air. But it's a well-known national brand that somebody had made $1 gazillion with. Seriously, they sold it to they sold their company to Colgate, Palmolive.
Oh wow.
So the person, thought that, I mean, he just, he started it like everyone else from the garage, started from scratch, ran it 20 years, was always making tons of money from it, sold it for an enormous amount of money, and then said, like, I'm going to compete with Dave Palumbo for Fiberlize.
Something stupid, yeah, like that.
He just did something that was completely different and is just losing his shirt, pants, shoes, and house. And people thought he was brilliant. And I told this guy who was telling me the story, who's a big time lawyer, I said, well, you can be brilliant in one thing. That doesn't mean it translates into, the second business. You know what I mean? I mean, that's for a lot of people who are like incredibly skilled in business.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes people are just really good at their niche.
Yeah, no. I think they made a mistake when they tried to launch like protein powders. Their thing was always bars. That was their shtick.
Yeah.
They came out with a pizza too.
Fiberlize bar, dude.
It's very. I'll tell you why. It's hard to come out with when you put psyllium into a bar. Here's my problem. My problem, Chris, with making products.
You just said that. It's like the Susie Blaylock telling me about cancer and me getting the mole. The people used to make their own machines. You need your own machines.
No, it's not that you can't. That's the machine. Here's the problem. I will only make something that works. If I just put a sprinkle of this or that into the bar and called it a fiber bar, and it didn't work like the protein, like the actual fiber powder, like my Fiberlize did, then I'd be basically deceiving people. Now I can sell it as a protein / fiber bar. I mean, Quest bars were always sold as high fiber bars. Now the fiber that's in there is not absorbable, which makes it a good bar, but it's not giving you like a high quality fiber that's going to help your colon. Now, there's two types of fibers. There's one type of fiber that would be something you would take because it's just not absorbable, and it can take the place of like a carbohydrate in there, so it tastes good. And then there's a fiber that actually does something health wise for you. Two different type of products. I've made samples. I've had some samples made of fiber bars.
Blackman had a killer taste in protein bar or fiber bar. He had a few bars.
They had those. Yeah, they were like Tootsie Roll bars. Yeah, they were hard. They got hard though. That's the only problem. But that was before anyone made bars, really. Right? Was it with Mass Fuel bar? Remember that Mass Fuel bar?
Yeah.
You could chew it for like 25 minutes. It was like a big Tootsie Roll.
Tear out any when you had the old type of.
You pull your fillings out, yeah.
Fillings. The old time fillings when you had what was in the filling? What was the filling material made of?
The mercury, yeah, fillings, yeah.
Mercury, yeah, it's great, wonderful.
They called it something else, I don't remember, but it had mercury in it, yeah. Can you imagine they were putting mercury in our mouths and everyone thought it was fine?
It is insane, right?
Yeah. Some people still have. You probably still have some mercury in your mouth. You probably never had it taken out, did you?
I've never had a cavity.
Really? Wow. It's impressive.
Yep.
Very impressive.
I wasn't even a good brusher either.
Yeah.
A good flyer. I guess genetics.
You probably never ate any bad food. That's why. You probably were just like never a big candy addict or anything like that. I was a big candy kid when I was a kid. I ate a lot of candy. I was convinced I wasn't going to let my kids have any candy, but that's out the window. They eat whatever they want. I'm giving them ice cream at night.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised when I saw them eating ice cream. I figured, geez, Dave Palumbo. I figured to give them like fibrillized like yogurt or something.
The funny thing is that I'll get them real ice cream, and then I'll eat like this these like no dairy ice creams, like where they have like they made out of coconut, instead of milk, and they'll eat mine. They'll be like, I want Daddy's. Daddy's is better. I'm like, all right. So how can I say no? It's 5 times the price, but I don't care. It's got no crap in it. So there's one ice cream. It's called No Moo, like no milk, no moo, moo. I eat that.
Sounds like a knockoff to that thing from the Sumia Trudy's selling. What was it?
What, the NOCO?
NOCO and No Moo.
You know what the NOCO stands for? It stands for No Carbs Company.
Well, Sweden is the no juice country, right?
I thought you said no Jews.
Juice. Wrong bodybuilder.
Yeah. So there was only one show this past week, and one pro show, that is. It's the Golden State Bikini Pro. And Camille Perriott won that. Jessica Palmer second. And Tiffany Jensen third. Now, these shows that are happening now after the Tampa Pro Show are all qualifiers for 2020. So these people who win these shows will not be in the Olympia unless they've qualified already. Now, if someone like a big Ramy were to do the Italy Pro Show, that would qualify him for 2020 Olympia, which might not be a bad idea. I know we talked about it earlier. You don't think it's a good idea for Ramy to compete this year, or what do you think?
I don't think, based on that video, that he could win a show this year.
Even like a post-Olympia show?
No, because you got the post-Olympians.
That's true. You might get like the Brandon Currys or the William Bonacks going into those shows. Ruley likes to do all those shows after the Olympia.
Yeah.
He cleans. He's like the Levrone of the modern era. He doesn't necessarily win the Olympia, but then he goes to the European tour and he wins all these shows. That you're like, Ruley Winkler won that show.
Well, they like big, right?
Yeah, no, I think they do. I think they like big and overseas. All right, well, I have a busy week, obviously. I'm trying to get all our Olympia coverage done this week. I'm recording on Mondays and Tuesdays this week because we have, obviously, Thursday is the induction day, and Wednesday will be a zoo. Trying to get every last minute detail done, and then assuming she has the baby Thursday afternoon, she'll come home Friday.
Let's review their ages. Their ages right now.
Mine or yours?
Yours.
I have my daughter's 1.5 years. My son's 3.5, and this one will be, the newborn. So they're about 2 years apart. All of them. We timed them pretty good.
And you got the minivan, so that means there's 3 car seats, right?
There's 3 car seats in the minivan. Yes, my son is now in the 3rd row. We moved him back. He has his own row.
I'm clueless, and I can't even remember these things. Is Logan in diapers or not diaper? I don't know what age kids.
My son still wears a diaper just to play it safe, but he can go on the potty now. He's just lazy. He doesn't want to do the poopies on the potty. He does the pee-pees.
There's diapers and wipes through the whole damn house.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. There's not a room or a place we don't have baby wipes and backup diapers just in case. He goes to school with no diapers on, but he at night we put it on him just to play it safe.
Oh my God! And juice cups and bottles.
I think my daughter will be potty trained way before my son. But they say that the girls are better at that type of stuff. My son is a clone of my dad. It's not even. It's
crazy, isn't it?
If I wish my grandparents were alive, that I could ask them about my dad when he was a kid.
Of course, it'd be a carbon copy.
They'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what he did." Because my dad never told me anything about it. I think he blocked it out. I don't think he remembers anything from childhood. He remembers once he was older, but I want to know when he was like the first 2-3 years.
Yeah.
What he was like. I don't even know what I was like. I can't remember what I was like the first 2-3 years of my life.
You know what I told my 14-year-old today? I took a picture, like 19 pictures of him holding the 5-month-old.
Yeah.
And I said, have you ever seen any pictures of my mother? My mother.
Yeah.
Or my mother-in-law when they were little? And he said, no. I said, think how few pictures exist, of my mother who's 81, or my mother-in-law who's like late 60s. Because, you had to have cameras and you had to bring,
Yeah, to have the film developed. Right, exactly.
Now we do oh, look, Dave brought the baby home from the hospital to take 400,000 photos.
You know what the problem is, Chris? We don't print these photos out anymore. They're all digital. They're all like in some kind of virtual computer world.
You're going to lose them, right?
We'll lose them all, yeah. We'll have nothing.
Yeah, we'll have some type of nuclear bomb go off.
Yeah, wipe out all the digital information everywhere, and the only thing left will be the 1920s pictures that we got in black and white.
What's so funny? I love the pictures, like the nostalgic pictures.
Yeah.
And in my office here, I'm looking at it right now. I have my own little photo book of my kids, and I had them all printed out because
that's smart. I go on Shutterfly and I print them out sometimes just to hang them in the house so I can hang something on the wall with my kids, Shutterfly is great because they scam you. They give you like free this, free that. I have a coffee mug with my kids on it, but then they charge you like $100 shipping, to ship the stuff. It doesn't cost anything to print the pictures out, but the shipping's $100. So. But they do a good job. You can go if I had more time, you can get really creative. You can make I made a mouse pad for my mother-in-law with my kid with the grandkids on there.
Oh yeah, I get all that. So I get coffee cups. And tea.
My daughter goes crazy when I drink the coffee cup with a picture on it.
She likes it?
Oh, she goes nuts. It's actually a picture of myself, my wife, her mother, and the kids. So I'm like, who's this? I'm always quizzing her. She knows everyone. Yeah, She's as my grandfather would say, she's a whiz kid. Remember they had the whiz kids on the radio years ago, before mine and your time. But
yeah, no, I know that saying, whiz kid.
They would have these shows where they would do it was almost like Jeopardy, only but they have kids on there that were like geniuses. They try to stump them. The whiz kids, they call them. All right, well. Let's wrap this up. The question still out there: what will happen with Shawn Rhoden? We will find out obviously by next week. We'll talk about his court date on the show. Obviously, Big Ramy. What's his intentions? We don't know. He obviously wants to go into the Olympia. The invite has not been issued. I don't see it being issued now with less than 3 weeks to go. What's Shawn Rhoden training for? Chris knows, but won't tell us. We will find out that probably within the next couple weeks as well. And that's what makes this world go around. And you know what? At least someone out there is having a good day. Congratulations, Ron, and all the owners of Quest Nutrition. $1 billion, man. That makes you really want to push real hard and do the best you can do, because there's hope that you can be the next billionaire, right, Chris?
Yeah. Well, money doesn't bring you happiness.
That's true, but it doesn't hurt.
No, my grandmother used to tell me all the time. She was poor. She used to tell me she used to yell at people. Money brings you happiness. But you know what she used to say? She used to say that, and when people get pissed at her, she used to defend herself by saying, "You can help people who don't have anything."
Look,
one of the things that she said it makes. She told me when I was little, money makes daily life less stressful,
right?
And then people who had I remember my aunt fighting with her and saying, money doesn't bring happiness, to my grandmother from Italy saying, you can do something with it, you can give it to people who have less than you, and it makes you can make them happy.
I always say, look, I see people, probably the number one fight between couples is about money, right? Oh, yeah. So I always wanted to have enough money that would not ever be an issue where I'm fighting with my wife about, we afford to do this? Can we afford to do that? I mean, my parents fought about money and stuff like that because my father was a teacher. I mean, he made reasonable money, but not excessive money where they could buy whatever they wanted. So that was always I didn't want to ever have that as an issue. Not that I'm a superficial guy who has to have everything. But I just wanted to just be comfortable in the sense that you don't have to worry about that. And I want to be able to put myself in an insane asylum when I get older, if necessary,
When I used to go grocery shopping with my mother, and you know what I wanted to do? I always had a goal. I always wanted to buy groceries with never having to look at the price.
Right. I do that. I buy gas like that. That's exactly what I do. Yeah.
My mother would look at like the ketchup, and we'd have to spend like 9 minutes at the ketchup aisle looking for the cheapest ketchup, and then we should put that in the cart. And then we'd go to like the chicken, and we'll go to the chicken wings and the chicken legs and the chicken with the skin and the day old chicken and the chicken with almost going to kill you chicken, like it's 5 days old, and she'd make a decision on that. Then you'd have to buy a gallon of milk that was like as big as the cow, or not a gallon. Biggest thing possible, because you get on the net cost, and it's like, oh my god, so much stress going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know what? Italians were from that poverty mentality, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, they were. They
grew up during it. So my father isn't part of that. They, even with money, they still always, were cheap because they think, oh, you're not going to have any money left,
Absolutely.
So, anyway, that's what's going on in the world. I've got the Olympia coming up. You're going to be. I'm assuming you're going out there early.
Oh, I'm going out there to escape my kids. Absolutely. You're staying home because of your kids. I'm running for mine.
Yeah, you're running out. What are you going to be there week before?
I'm going to get there maybe like 6 days or something before the show.
And I'm assuming you're at the Platinum Hotel again? Platinum
sold out because of Guy Sistanino making that announcement that it's the go-to place by it's so bizarre. Now it's like fans because they know Ramy's staying there, or Rhoden or Cedric, or
You can't get in there because you got you book out that hotel every year. You know who told me? I told you. Sheila Bleck told me about that hotel. That's her little place too.
I call Sheila Bleck now Shayla Bleck.
Shayla Bleck.
The dates makes her sound much older than she really is, Sheila. So I call her Shayla, and Shay for short.
There you go. You know what? Before we go, let's play the latest. You want me to play it, or you want to play the latest Phil message?
No, don't play that one because I think he gives too much personal information. Is it whack? What does he say? Where you can?
No, he goes crazy at you with the bed bugs again.
Go ahead, play it.
All right.
Play it.
Hold on.
Play the tape.
Phil, you still got bugs here. Just reminding you, one spraying isn't going to do it. It's been almost a month, so don't worry about it. Doreen wants me to tell you about the fucking hallway and the traffic. Smoking crack. The hallway's up. The door's always open. They're putting cigarettes out in the hallway. I mean, it's bullshit. So, I mean, if you want to put all this money into the house and let somebody like that stay here, it's on you. I can only imagine what upstairs looks like. But I didn't call you for that. The bathroom and the overhead light, too. All right? Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Fucking the bugs are back again.
Pleasant.
The buzz.
What? The neighbor who he doesn't like, who he's
smoking crack. They're smoking crack.
You know where she goes every morning at 7 o'clock?
Where?
Out to the hospital where she's a nurse.
But she's smoking crack on the weekends, evidently. Unbelievable. You've completely enabled him to the point where he thinks now that he's like your son or your kid or your father. Chris, I know you just redid the whole apartment, but you know what? Can you paint the trim a little nicer?
Yeah. No, he won't let it go. He'll just keep going and going.
What about he dropped the whole lead paint thing on you? I haven't heard him complaining about the lead paint that you painted over.
Yeah, because I evicted the building for lead, which means it's like a lead safe building.
Right.
And but you can still have mercury fillings there, and I'm sure he has mercury fillings.
I'm sure.
And so the front of the building it's very nice. The back fire escapes were torn down and put up brand new, right?
Yeah, Chris, you think I can't climb these fucking fire escapes? What are you,
No,
nuts?
so the front of the building, which was built probably like in 1950.
Yeah.
It's got really nice looking porches that are really nice. They're just unique and antique looking, and they're covered in lead paint. So my options were to tear down the lead paint, tear down the porch, and then you don't have the architectural detail anymore.
Right.
And you could never rebuild it. You can't go to some it costs you a fortune to go to some carpenter who does finished work and say, "Can you rebuild those?" He'd say, "Yeah, I can do that for those 3 decks, $145,000."
Sure.
Or for $6,000, you can have a professional come in and just repaint them. Encapsulate whatever they do with the lead, so there's no hazard there.
Right.
So he doesn't like that.
He wanted the $50,000 job on his porch.
He wanted the porches torn down and put up.
Yeah. For his $500, he probably pays you a month rent.
Yeah. Say Levy. Give him some Fiberlives. You should give him some product, and then he can be on a first name basis with you.
Yeah, that's all I think. That'll be calling me, complaining about you.
I have him so stressed out. I'm sure he's all boned up.
I'll have to have him on live with regularly.
Oh, he would be.
God damn it, Dave. I don't want to badmouth the guy because I really like Chris, but these fucking bed bugs. I don't know why can't he just get these? You know what it is? He's too fucking cheap. He won't get the exterminators that know how to get these bugs out of there. And he's trying to blame me for bringing in the bugs. Come on. That's just bullshit,
Dave, you know what Chris's problem is? He'll deny it, but he's too close to these bodybuilders he helps. He's biased. Even I looked at the Olympia lineup, and the people he helped, they look like shit.
Who said that?
Phil. No, Phil. If he came on the show, then he'd start following bodybuilding.
Oh, you're Phil. Oh, you're not doing the right accent, man. You're doing. I thought you were doing the Bob Ciccarello accent for a second.
It's a cross between Bob and Phil. That's
these fucking bed bugs. God damn it, Chris. Come on, smoking crack on the. They let the neighbors in. They leave the door open. We can't sleep. We turn up the TV. I still hear it.
Do you want to know something that's interesting, Dave?
What?
Out of all those messages about bed bugs that he's left,
Yeah.
Notice what he leaves out. He's never been bit.
No, but of course he hasn't, because if he did, then the messages would be way more severe, I would think.
That's right. You got it.
He probably thinks every little gnat he sees is a fucking bed bug.
I once went to the exterminator, and I think I said this on the previous radio show. Once I went to extermination with the exterminator, he was doing his process. And I was jumpy as could be. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I don't want to." I was so scared to be in the apartment. He said, "They're not Mexican jumping beans, for Christ's sakes, and they don't have wings where they can fly like a mosquito would land on you. They're in the bed." He said, "So don't be so jumpy." This is the exterminator telling me. And then he said, "Chris, the problem with bed bugs is if someone ever has them in their apartment once, they are hyper aware for the rest of their lives of every itch, every scratch."
I'm sure, yeah.
He said it was like blinking. He said, "Do you know how many times a human being blinks a day? But if I told you, the more you blink, if you blink more than 2,000 times in a day,
Exactly.
you die.
Yeah, exactly.
You die. So you'd be so hyper aware of how many times you blink a day that you drive yourself crazy." And he said, "I have so many places that I go to." This was not my building, but he said, "I have so many places where, people think they have bed bugs because they had them once, and now they're itching and scratching, and they get a pimple on their shoulder." And they
Of course. No, it makes sense. I remember we had fleas once when we had gotten a cat from the animal shelter when I was a kid, and it had fleas, and I was getting bit by them, because they breed in the house, And then we got the house bombed and exterminated, and I was still convinced. I was itching for 6 months after that. I was itching. It's normal. God damn it, Chris! Don't tell me I'm fucking making this up. I know what a bed bug looks like. And on that note, until next week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
The truth hurts.
good night, everyone. See you next week.